Okay, year 11, here's the first 6 questions for this week's homework, and it's May 2017, and it's the Numeracy paper unit 1. So, question 1, you're given some information about the number of cars parked in a local car park at 10 a.m. each day for 7 days in the week. So, you're given some information here, about all the cars. The first thing you notice is it says that the greatest number of cars is 11. So I'm going to write that down over here because I know that's the biggest number of cars. Then it tells you that the range here is 8. Well, you should know that the range is the biggest, take away the smallest. So 11 take away 3 gives me 8. So the smallest number of cars parked in a car park is 3. Then this bit of information here tells me that the median is 9. Well, the median sounds like the word medium, which is in the middle. So 9 is the middle number. Okay, then you're also told here that one day there were 6 cars and another day there were 7 cars in the car park. So I can fill those in. So we just need another two days where we need to know where the number of cars are. Well, if you see this information here, it tells you that the mode of the cars was 10. Well, mode is the most common number, so that must mean that on those 2 days, it had to be 10 for the mode to be 10, because it needs to be the most common number. So you've got 2 of those, and only one of each of the other numbers. Okay, then I actually asked you to work out the mean. Well, to get the mean, you have to divide the total by the number of days. So we need to add up those numbers there. So 3 plus 6 is 9, plus 7 is 16, plus 9 is 25, 35, 45, and that comes to 56. And we divide by the number of days, which is 7, and 56 divided by 7 gives me 8. So it's on average, there's 8 cars in the car park each day. Question 2 gives me some information about Hilary and Yvonne's journeys to and from school, and then we've got some questions on it. Question 2a, at what time did Yvonne arrive home from school? So we're looking at Yvonne's graph, which is the solid black line, and you can see that she arrives home from school at this point here. Well, that's 1400 hours and that's 1600 hours, so this bit here is 1500 hours, and that's halfway between 1500 and 1600, which would be 1530. Okay, part B, Hilary cycles along a straight road to school and back. How far does she cycle when going to school and back in one day? So we're looking at Hilary's graph this time, which is the dotted line. Well, you can see she cycles out 8 kilometers, then she spends all day in school, and then she travels back home from this point here, which is 8. So she's traveling 8 kilometers to school and 8 kilometers back home. So altogether, she's traveled a distance of 16 kilometers. Martha looks at the graph and says this, the school Hilary attends is 2 kilometers from Yvonne's school. Is this true? Well, you can't tell. All you know is the distances they've traveled to get to school. They could live in different directions, so you can't really tell because they could live in different directions. Okay, question 3, you're given some information about a campsite, and you're told that Rodri and Lars are going to stay at this campsite. They're taking 1 tent. The area of the tent measures 2.5 by 4.4 meters, and they're going to stay for a total of 12 nights. Their holiday is 8 weeks away, and they each plan to save £15 per week. And you've got to figure out whether they'll have enough money to pay for the holiday. So the first thing I would do here is work out how much they would have collected. So, or total saved. remember this is an OCW question, so you want a description for every calculation. You need all your workings and all your units and everything needs to be correct. So total saved, well, they're saving £15 per week and they're doing that for 8 weeks, so you want 8 lots of 15. But there's 2 of them also saving it, so we're going to times that by 2. So 8 15s, 120 times 2 gives me £240. So together they would have saved £240. So we're just going to work out now the cost of the tent. Okay, to work out the cost of the tent, we need to work out what the area of the ground is first of all. Because you can see it's either going to be £14 per night or £16 per night. So really, before we actually work out the cost of the tent, we need to work out the area of the floor, the area of the ground floor. And to do that, we need to do the area of a rectangle, which would be 2.5 times 4.4. Well, the easiest way to do that would probably do 2 lots of 4.4 and then add on a half of that as well. So 0.5 times 4.4 or half of 4.4, which would be 2.2. 2 times 4.4 is 8.8 plus the 2.2. That's going to give me 11, and that's meters squared. Area is measured in squares. So we can see now that it says here that if it's less than or equal to 12 meters squared, it's going to be £14 per night. So we're going to be paying £14 per night. But you need to be careful because it also says at the bottom here that if you stay 5 nights, you get the extra night completely free. So this means no charge for tents or people on every 6th night. So even though we're going for 12 nights, we're only actually going to be paying for 10. So we need, the cost of the tent is going to be 10 lots of £14, which is going to be £140. Okay, now we need to work out the cost for the 2 people. So it tells you here that it's £14 per night per person. But again, because we're only paying for 10 nights, we're going to do 10 lots of 4. But again, we're paying for 2 people, so we need to times that by 2. And that comes to £80. So the total cost of the holiday is going to be £140, which is the cost of the tent, plus the charge for the 2 people, which is £220. So it's asking you, will the amount they save be enough to pay for the holiday? Well, the answer is yes, because the cost of the amount of money they save is £240, and the total cost of the holiday is £220. So yes, they will have £20 left over. Okay, question 4. You have to work out, gives you some information about selling 3 companies, how much it would cost to send a parcel. So parcel max we're going to look at first. So parcel max here says that the total cost is the sum of the 3 dimensions. Well, dimensions is just the posh maths word for the length, width and height of the box. So all we need to do there is add them up. So it's 20 plus 30 plus 10, and then we've got to times that by 0.60 or 60 pence, well 0.6. So really what we're doing is we're doing 20 plus 30 plus 10 is 60, so we're doing 60 times 0.6. We can ignore the decimal point and just do 6 times 60, which is 360. And then you've got 1 number after the point there, so I need 1 number after the point in my answer, so my point would go there. So that would be 36.0 or 36.00, which really is just £36. Direct go. To work out the cost there, you've got to work out the volume. So the volume of a cube is length times width times height. So we've got to do 30 times 10 times 20, and that gives me an answer. If we do 3 times 1 times 2, that gives me 6, and I've got 1, 2, 3 zeros, 1, 2, 3, and that's going to be centimeters cubed because it's volume. So the cost for this one, we've got to times it by 0.01, so 6,000 times by 0.01, and times it by 0.01 is the same as dividing by 100, so 6,000 divided by 100 would be £60. Okay, then the last one, we've got to work out the total area of the 6 faces for pack to save. So first thing we need to do is work out the area of the front, and also you've got the back, which you can't see. So the area of the front and back. So the area of the front is a rectangle which measures 20 by 30, so we're going to do 20 times 30. But we've got one at the front and one at the back, so I'm going to times that by 2. 20 times 30 is 600, times 2 would give me 1,200, and that's centimeters squared because we're working out area. Then we need to work out the sides. So you've got a side there and you've got a side here that you can't see. So this side here measures 10 by 20. So the sides, it's going to be 10 times 20, but we've got 2 of them. 2 sides, we're going to multiply that by 2. 20 times 10 is 200, times 2 is 400. And then we've got the top and the bottom. So you've got your top and you've got your bottom there that you can't see. Top and bottom. So your top measures 30 by 10. So it's 30 times 10. But again, we've got 2 of them. We've got the top and the bottom. So we times by 2. That gives me 600 centimeters squared. So the total area is going to be 1,200 plus 400 plus 600, which is 2,200 centimeters squared. And it says, when I've worked that out, that it's the total area of the 6 faces times by 0.02. So the cost here is going to be 2,200 times by 0.02. Well, again, probably the easiest thing here is to ignore the decimal point. Just do 2 times 2,200, which would be 4,400. And then we've got 2 numbers after the point there. So we need 2 numbers after the point of my answer, so it'd be there. So my answer for this one is £44. Okay, the last question. What is the percentage saving a Lazar will make by choosing the cheapest option rather than the most expensive option? So you need to find the difference between the biggest and the smallest. So the smallest is 36, the biggest is 60. So the difference is 24. You divide by the biggest amount, and then you've got to change that into a percentage. So you need to times by 100. Or you need to put that fraction out of 100. So what you could do, if you divide everything by 6, that's the same as saying 4 over 10. And then to change it into a percentage, you could put it out of 100 by times it by 10. So it would be 40%. Or you could just do cancel there, 6 goes into 24, 4 times 10 is 40%, whichever way you understand. Okay, question 5 is a ratio question. You were told that Bryn, Sophie and Jasmine share a prize in the ratio 2 to 6 to 7. So Bryn gets 2 shares, Sophie gets 6, Jasmine gets 7 shares. It says Bryn gets the smallest share and Jasmine won £560, which is the largest share. And we have to work out Bryn and Sophie's, how much they each win. So you can do this with bar modelling. So we've got 2, 6 and 7, which is 15 shares altogether, or 15 boxes if you're going to use bar modelling. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and we need another one to make the 15. We know that Jasmine has the largest share, which is 7 boxes. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So she's got 7 boxes. And we know that all these boxes add up to £560. So we can work out what each box is by doing 560 divided by 7. 7 goes into 5, 0 remainder 5. 7 goes into 56, 8. 7 goes into 0, 0. So it's basically each box is worth £80. And then we need to work out what Bryn and Sophie shares. So Bryn gets 2 shares and Sophie gets 6. So this is Bryn, this is Sophie, this is Jasmine. Bryn is getting £160 and Sophie's getting 80. She's getting 6 lots of 80, which is £480. Okay, it says that Jasmine gives away 15% of her winnings to charity. How much does she have left? So if we work out 15% of 560, that will tell us how much she's given to charity. So we can work out 10%. So we just divide by 10, which is £56. 5% is going to be half of that, which is £28, and then 15% will be those two added together, which is £84. So that's how much she's given to charity. So to work out how much she's got left, we need to do 560 take away 84. So 560 take away £84 is 476. Okay, part B, the talent contest is held every year, and every year the talent contest, the cost of it increases by 10% of the previous year. So in the summer of 2014, the cost was £6,600. So we need to work out how much extra it is each year and add it onto the new amount every year. So in 2015, so for 2015, we're going to have £6,600 plus 10% of that year there. So 10% of 6,600 is 660. So in 2015, the cost would have been 7,260. Then in 2016, it's going to be 7,260 plus 10% of the new amount, which is 726, and that comes to 7,986. And then we're going to work out the cost in 2017, so that's going to be 7,986 plus 10% of the new amount, which is going to be 798.6 in terms of money would be 60, and then we just need to add those together. So quickly using the column method, I add those two together, go 0 to 0 is 0, 0 plus 6 is 6, put my point in, 6 plus 8 is 14, so I carry 1, 8 plus 9 plus the 1 gives me 18, 9 plus 7 plus the 1 is 17, and so my final answer there would be £8,784.60. Okay, question 6 gives a survey about the amount of time that 16-year-olds and 18-year-olds use social media, and you've got some questions on those. So the first thing says, how many 16-year-olds took part in the survey? So we're looking at the 16-year-old graph, which is this one. To work out how many people took part, we just need to add these points together here. That will tell us how many people were in the survey. So this point, the frequency tells you how many people. So it's 40 plus 60 plus 40 plus 70 plus 20, which comes to 230. How many more 16-year-old students than 18-year-old students spent between 15 minutes and 25 minutes? So we need to find out how many for both and then take them away. So 15 to 20 minutes. Here's 15, here's 25 minutes. So they were 60 16-year-olds, and the 18-year-olds would have been 20. So the difference is going to be 60, take away 20, which is 40. Okay, Wesley says the 16-year-old students generally spent about the same time using social media as the 18-year-old students. Using the frequency polygons, how would you explain to Wesley the statement's not true? Well, you can see that the 18-year-old's graph leans more towards the greater times, so it would suggest that the 18-year-olds use social media more than the 16-year-olds, or longer than the 16-year-olds. So the graph for the 18-year-olds leans towards the greater times. Okay, that's